How you doing? This is Brett Jolly for People Like Us, and another segment. And of course, as you well know, this is done to bring the community closer together, one voice at a time. I like to find people that truly unique in the way what they do and how they do it. And one of those individuals right now is this gentleman over here, Rob Williams. Hey, Rob, how you doing, man?
All right, thank you, bro.
Listen,
Nice
it's
to
my
meet you.
pleasure. I want you to tell everybody what you do.
Well, that's a good one. Funny thing is, I ask that question of myself sometime. But I'm a business analyst, financial analyst, more than an accountant. A lot of times that's the term used to best describe what we do. But I'm always analyzing from politics to numbers to taxation to accounting work. So yes, I have my field in that, but I share that because that's knowledge I try to share with others. How the system works under the financial umbrella, because numbers tell a story, although we want some of those numbers in our pockets as well economically. And then being active, just the word activist is kind of overused to me, but been part of my life since I was a child. Active in my Norfolk neighborhood and done many things around the city and even other parts of the country. And that's just always just caring. If you care, you become actively always trying to help someone else out. And that's some of my biggest background is my active side of my career. Sometimes that don't pay the bills, but that's the thing that gets you popular. And then politically, it's not about the candidates from here on out. And this, I worked with candidates in the past. I have friends that ran for office, and I'm passionate about finding the right team of people to run. But it's not about the candidate that we got to focus on. It's about talking more about how the system works. Because that's truly, it's a civics. It's truly the matrix. Civics is more than just voting and allowing for jury duty. Civics is the matrix.
That's awesome. And what made you decide to actually get into this?
Into which part?
Well, actually, in the part that you mentioned in terms of like, being accountable to others, showing them numbers and everything.
The math part of not a scientific math part. And scientific is things that's calculus and the extra scientific stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that. The reason that I'll bring that up is because sometimes people hear the word math, we hear one word and we assume it's everything. But when it comes to just analyzing, being a budget accountant when I started my career,
Mm-hmm.
Budget is not a bunch of numbers. It's anticipation of what you want to do with your business or what you plan to make.
Right.
But you want to analyze when you make it or you don't. Especially if you're over budget, that's what you want to analyze more to figure out so you can duplicate it.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, if you're under budget in the biggest companies, you know what happened already. You know what program didn't work. You know what advertising didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
You can beat it up, but you know what happened. To really want to analyze if you anticipated making $50,000 and you made 65, don't just get happy with that. You want to know what you did. You want to look at who you talked to, who you didn't talk to, what advertising you sent out, what information, what other kind. You want to rethink all the work that you did because you exceeded what you anticipated. So you want to make sure you duplicate it and even more.
Wow. So what are the most common mistakes you find with most people who have any problems?
As far as financial,
Mm-hmm.
the financial thing within the black community is our lack of talking about the purpose and reason for money. That's a question because we always look at money as the tool for our happiness, and we will buy items and things to fill in so many psychological voids that we spend so much. We don't secure assets. We like to accumulate items. We hear it, but if we don't talk about it more with each other, nothing wrong with a treat. Nothing wrong with getting a certain coat, a certain piece of jewelry, a certain car. But if you're looking at how much you make and you're struggling to pay for that certain vehicle, it should not be a struggle. If a car is a car, you need to get around. Let's be economical. But I also know sometimes feel like they don't have anything psychologically, and that items can make us feel good. So We got to talk about the reason and purpose of money, do more with it, take care of our basic bills. But the power of money is in our hand. We don't talk about it enough because you always hear how much we spend $1 trillion, but yet we don't own a bank, we don't own a hospital.
Right.
But yet we got all this proof that we spend so much. How do we start? What we say on the grassroots level is think about it, what we all get on any given day. And then also, when it comes to stock market and things in stocks, you want to start looking at investing in the things that we use.
Got you.
That's one of, if you talk to, I know you got all these analytical people that come on this program, that program, but the most common sense thing I've seen was a lady I was blessed to meet many, many years ago that made great money, but wasn't a multimillionaire. But she was someone that sat in the house, a grandmother. She didn't have fancy anything. Her children did not realize how much she was worth because she had started buying stock when they was younger. She changed nothing about her surroundings. She kept the same grandma in the house, but she brought stocks that they used products. That was her first advice. Mine, she didn't go to nobody college. She was just an older woman that figured it out and brought stock to stuff that they used. And then when new stuff came around, she was always paying attention. I'm not trying to make another company rich. I'm just trying to get us to get more from society. And we all need to do a lot more with money. And think about it, because we're so busy getting money to pay bills, which is real, but we also get money to treat ourselves, and then we treat ourselves with things that we don't always need.
And see, that's one of the reasons why I'm glad that we have you here, because I'm not sure if most people realize. Matter of fact, I probably didn't realize, but please tell them why it is so important to know you or someone like you.
The reason now, let me give some people a lesson that we don't think about. The word accountant, like any other word, it got more meanings, levels to it behind it. And you got people that prepare taxes, and you got people that are tax accountants. Some people call themselves tax experts. But either level you want to claim, somebody preparing taxes for 30 years got some good knowledge. I'm not knocking the knowledge that they've grown, but you got to be careful. They just usually prepare personal taxes. It's not business taxes. And taxes is not the only thing. Taxes shows your success, but we always looking for refunds. So when you have someone that you want to make your personal friend, you should be able to talk to them on any given day. And it's not about a charge every time you open up your mouth. It's not just about getting in trouble with the IRS. We need to have more discussions, and those of us that's doing the accounting work need to push and give more knowledge. And now a bookkeeper is what most accounting work is bookkeeping. But the word accountant is like to be used because it sounds better, and there are different levels to it. Don't get me wrong. There are times when you need the CPA. Most CPAs that you use, just a matter of signing with the letters, but most CPA certifications is not as good as it was before as you think. But to help you to keep things in line, a CPA helps you keep your affairs in line with industry standards if you have a business. But personally, if they got knowledge just from life, not because of their last letters. So you want to be mindful of that. When somebody has the letters, you want to test, because most CPAs do policy and procedures. And if they are working with larger companies or corporations, the day-to-day work of doing some basic tax returns, they don't always do. Someone might do a corporate tax return. So if they want to do a corporate tax and personal taxes, they're good. But just because somebody's an accountant don't mean that they are doing taxes, don't mean they're doing budgeting, don't mean they're doing cost. So we need to have more discussion, and my fellow accountants need to make sure that they explain more of that to everyone when they get a client. And a lot of things that most of us can do, because it's, like anything else, it's not that hard to learn it when you're in the field. And it's about exposure. But as an individual, I want to make sure you learn to ask more questions, not less questions. And if you are in a situation where somebody's doing your budget, that's a personal budget. But as you got a business going, you want to see a contract that you're going for, you want to make it more comprehensive. If you're saying, I'm going to make $500,000, you need to make sure that somebody's working with you because you come up with the target amount, but then your expenses are the expenses that you're going to use in order to make that revenue, and that the net is what you want to make. And the goal is hopefully 40%, whatever you bring in, 40% is your profit margin. Don't always happen. Sometimes you get 5%, 10%. It's a target because always expenses. But this is the type of discussion. I'm just doing this on this video. You want to have more of this type of discussion, not less.
There you go. It sounds pretty good. So, what kind of difference can you make between you, upgrading them or helping them with their taxes, as opposed to them not knowing what they're doing and trying to do it themselves?
What I run into the most with that, a lot of people are very good with doing their own taxes, but you will come across a situation that you will forget about or don't know. A common one, people move, and there's a form 3703, if I'm not mistaken, for moving expense. And the rule is if you're like 50 miles, your new residence is 50 miles away from your old job location, so you had to move over there for the new job. That's one of the questions that's asked. Sometimes when people have made moves, they have not did that form. Sometimes people have adopted children and have went through a whole process, especially mom or grandma, unfortunately, taking care of children or their grandchildren because they went through a situation, and the state gets involved. And sometimes during that process, even if it's grandma, it's sometimes expenses that can occur because the guardianship of that child has changed. So it is your dependent, but also some expenses, especially when people have look out for their niece or nephew and they officially adopt. That's adoption credit. It happens more than people realize, because I meet people that get it and didn't realize they knew that they could deduct that on their taxes, and it's extra expense.
Right.
So when you sit down with someone doing your taxes, we're supposed to be, we got to be newsy for a minute, lack of a better term, because you got to listen to people's year. If you have a friend, this is a big one, that went through life, regardless of what their circumstances were, but they wound up staying in your residence for a good period of time, especially over 6 months. And although they got themselves together, but that 6 months, if they really were not contributing and they were not gainfully employed, that person's your dependent for that year. If they 1 to 100, everybody, most people look for dependents to be children. A dependent is anyone you're providing care for. The children give you the extra credits you hear people go off about. But the key rule is if you're providing 50% of someone's well-being, then that person is your dependent for the year.
Gotcha.
And now it also gets even deeper that most my fellow tax accountants got to bring out the formula more. Is a criteria that you do to see, because everybody's well-being is different than someone else's.
Right.
If somebody's laid back and they really not productive in life, they might only need $200. And if you give them $100 every month, you got it. Now, if you do have someone that's making good money, $40,000, $50,000, your child most likely to want to do that to you the most, and they are living in your space and they're not giving you anything, their economics will put them outside the loop, and that's just your expense.
Gotcha.
But if something happens to people, which does unfortunately happen in life, those are some of the most common things that people don't realize where they can deduct. And also, people don't always have to live with you in order for you to get them and be the head of their household and get them as a dependent.
Really?
If you're caring for someone else's home, especially a parent or grandparent.
Gotcha.
You pick up all the expenses for that home. You're the head of the, and you could be living in an apartment. You're living in an apartment, but you're taking care of your mom or your grandma, and you're picking up all the expenses. All that, they're both your dependents, and you're picking up the expenses.
Wow.
That's something you want to analyze.
I believe it, and that's why I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people don't. I'll be honest with you, I don't know a lot about a lot of things when it comes to taxes, business, and everything else. Which is one of the reasons why I reached out to this man myself. You're going to have to tell me, because I've been hearing about it, even from you. But what is it with starting a business in an LLC, or is it
LLC.
LLC, and the other thing, which is I can't remember the smaller version of the LLC.
Well, you have sole proprietors.
S corp, I guess.
That's Schedule C on your 1040. Now you're encouraged to put more under your LLC is the most common. But the one thing that nobody speaks about with an LLC, limited liability company, is protection. That's what you hear. LLC is really reserved for partnerships. When you do your LLC, what you can do on the feds, you can fill out the form. It'll let you know when you get an EIN number that your LLC is actually have to be filed on S Corporation Form 1120. When you take on a partner, you can then turn do it on 1065 for partnerships. But a lot of LLCs are really S corps. You can pull out the book and have your fellow accountant look at your ideal and your economic company or financial company or development company. You want to look at the different laws in front of you. Look at the plan that you're doing. Have your accountant sit there and look at what's the best one to formulate you under. Because a C corporation is the one that people are concerned with taxes. But a C corporation, you can carry losses for a long time. And you can carry gains. So if you have a loss in a C corporation that's $100,000 one year, you can carry it. It carries forward. You get a gain of $50,000 the next year, but you had $100,000 the previous year as offsets. So you don't have to put that gain and there's no taxes on that.
Okay, so does that mean that if you are under either one of those, either C Corp or LLC, that you can purchase a house or a car? And
now, that's a good one.
okay.
When you first start off with an LLC, S Corp, or any form of entity, you want to get to that point. But you do have to build up a reputation with your company.
Mm-hmm.
You have to build your credit, which has been done. You Dun & Bradstreet always work well to help keep track of your business. So filling out your tax returns and make sure they got a copy. Make sure they can see the strength of your business if you get a contract. And ideally, you do want to put under. Now, if you have a car, you got equipment, you can transfer all that stuff under your LLC if the car is paid for. You can transfer it to your corporation. You can transfer
if the car is paid for.
Paid for.
Okay.
As if you have a mortgage, if you have a lien on it from the bank,
Mm-hmm.
the bank not going to. You can do what you want to do with the car, but they not going to transfer that loan to your corporation a lot of times.
Okay.
But the ideal is to apply for a loan through your business and to consider co-signing for the loan for your business and see what happens.
Okay. Now you mentioned the credit of the company.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that determined by your own credit, or does that? Okay.
It starts off as you, because if you go in there and say, I would like to, you go purchase something, and if it needs to be financed, if
Mm-hmm.
you go and purchase something under your company with a business check,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to give it to you. That's yours.
Okay.
But it's when you're trying to finance something that the bank might need more. If your company hasn't been around long enough,
Right.
they might say no and look for you to do it under your own credit. But it's a way possibly that you can still put your business first and co-sign for your own business and see which banker you're dealing with that'll go with that. But
Okay.
as you build up and you have things, you file tax returns, you've been in business for a while, you got a contract, you're showing that you're busy, you're showing that you got a lot of gigs, and they can see the cash flow of your business. And one thing I want to make people make really clear that's so important with business, you want to make deposits in your business every day if you can. If you get a check from somebody today, especially anybody that's musicians, because that's what the Jolly name is known for the most, even if it seems redundant, if you got 152, 53, 55, 50, putting those checks in your business, through your business,
Mm-hmm.
that builds up your credit with the bank. Depository is what they look for. It's not even how much, it's the fact that it's consistent. That builds up a reputation. You go sit down with the bank and they see for the past year that you made during the month you made 20 deposits.
Mhm.
You might have took the money back out, but the thing is, you made a deposit. That shows some activity.
Okay.
And when they see the activity, that shows a lot, and especially if the balances go up.
Okay, so you need to put the money in based on a continual basis.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And if you and it's funny, if you have a Cash App,
Mhm.
it's kind of tricky, but Cash Apps is really personal. All these different cash things are personal. You gotta go to your personal account.
Mhm.
But if there's a way to get the money to go to your business account, that's good. You can put in your business account and transfer it to your personal anytime.
Okay.
But you want to put in that, and the hardest thing to do, and sometimes you don't, because you need to always have petty cash around. When you get cash for something, you're not always going to put that in the bank. So if you get 150 here, 150 there, you got $300, that's like your petty cash. But keep track of that. And I hate something I heard over the years. 2 sets of books. They are 1 set of books. Keep track of what you do and don't do. And you work with your accountant, and you look at what, reportable and not reportable things that you want to take care of. But get used to having your information and know every penny that you brought in.
Wow. Okay.
Even if it's cash, I'm gonna keep it real with you if it's cash, and sometimes you might not report that extra $50. Nobody's gonna really kill anything, but you need to know that you got it, because if you got $1,500 around the house because you done built up, don't let it sit. Put it in your business,
Okay.
because the banks will see that. And in the future, when you want to go get a piece of equipment that's a big keyboard, what's some of the stuff y'all do?
Big keyboard.
Hold on, what's the board y'all use with all the stuff in your program?
Oh, mixer, because
Big
console.
mixer, right? Console, right?
Yeah, I just bought a $1,500 bass guitar.
Right.
Yeah.
Those things are big. So, and then also you want to apply for credit cards with your business.
Okay.
And I give the granddaddy his props. I'm not shouting nobody out, not trying to advertise for him. But American Express is one of the best friends for a business.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
They really work well, even though people got them personally, but they really work well in the business.
Okay.
You got the cash flow again, and you show it because if you use American Express, other credit cards take care of their securities as well, but American Express is used around the world.
Okay. It's a very well-known name.
Yes.
And I must say, this is this is when we got to do, I think, like part 2 and part 3, because I'll be honest with you, it's already up to that time already.
Right.
I want to say once again, this is People Like Us. My name is Brett Jolly. Of course, my co-producer is Toni, Trower, and this is Rob Williams. What do you want to be called, Robert?
Robert.
Okay.
Williams.
Robert Williams. A very important person, as you've heard, that you really need to know. All right? Because you can go according to, on the outside, what his title is, but the thing about it is, if you're interested in handling money or making money the right way, see this brother.
No problem at all. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
This is People, by the way, we're on YouTube. Jolly T Media on YouTube. And, check us out. Please share, like, and subscribe. Yeah,
Yes,
there you go.
definitely
Yeah,
subscribe.
we want all of that, because the thing about it is it helps us to bring more content. We're going to have probably a part 2, probably a part 3, part 4, 5, 6. Who knows?
I could do once a month or every.
We may have to do that,
Yes.
because there's a lot, obviously, we need to know. So, again, thank you very much. This is People Like Us, and we shall see you next time.
Thank you.
MBS, we're here to do your taxes. MBS, call me now, just call 267-43223. Call 267-43223. MBS.
Call 267-432-2300. MBSX Accounting Services.